What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHawks42 on the internet, and today I want to talk about a very specific card that is frankly very bad, but also show you a deck that I built using said bad card and show you some gameplay with it. So this is Obscura Ascendancy. This is a card that came out in the streets of New Capenna, and it says if you jump through a hoop, you get a 2/2 flyer. If you jump through 5 hoops, you get 5 2/2 flyers, all hoops being different and difficult to cast, or difficult to execute, jump through if you will, to extend the metaphor. It specifically says whenever you cast a spell, if its mana value is equal to 1 plus the number of soul counters on Obscura Ascendancy, put a soul counter on Obscura Ascendancy, then create a 2/2 white spirit creature token with flying. Literally, if you cast so you have to cast a 1-drop, then you get a 2/2 spirit. Then you have to cast a 2-drop, you get another 2/2 spirit. Cast a 3-drop, you get a third 2/2 spirit. You get the idea. But then it also says as long as there are 5 or more soul counters on Obscura Ascendancy, spirits you control get +3/+3. So turning all those 2/2s all of a sudden into 5/5s, kind of like, okay, now we're talking, because these bodies have some oomph to them. And additionally, in a format where starting life total is 20, this gives you all, potentially, if you are to execute all of this, it gives you 25 flying power on the board. So that's enough to theoretically kill your opponent. So the goal is to hit Obscura Ascendancy as fast as humanly possible, and then curve out, starting effectively on turn 4 with Obscura Ascendancy on the field, and trigger a bunch of stuff. So let's get into a deck where I actually built this, and let's see how we're gonna go about doing this, because it is difficult, and you have to be a little creative. But let's see what we do. So here's the deck, and I gotta say a huge shout out to my buddy Tommy, who challenged me to build this morning. So on stream this morning, I had a moment. We were just having fun, playing, being silly like we do, and then a little notification came up in chat. Deck building challenge. Okay, sweet. I love it when my community challenges me to build decks. And I saw Tommy's name. I was like, all right, Tommy. All right, what do you got for me? Obscura Ascendancy. And my heart, my initial feeling, my heart kind of sank a little bit. My heart dropped because I was like, oh no. I knew this day would come. I have to build an Obscura Ascendancy deck. And we spent the rest of the stream building different versions of this deck, and finally, I gotta say, the one that we landed on I think is pretty decent. We tried doing Spirit Tribal. We didn't try doing anything with Hallowed Haunting, because that's another synergy that could potentially be quite strong. Instead, what we're doing here is we are doing Control. So this is an Esper Control list, and you'll notice our curve actually looks a little awkward. Now, it's interesting because we do need to hit a 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop in sequence after getting Obscura Ascendancy online. And you'll notice here we have 4 Obscura Ascendancies. I got the fancy art for them just because it was in one of those events, and I was like, yeah, I'll grind these events to get some card styles. Card styles are nice. Anyway, so the goal is hit Obscura Ascendancy on 3 and then start curving out as early as 4, essentially. And we want to do so in response to our opponent. So if our opponent gives us creatures to interact with and gives us spells to counter, then all of a sudden we can take advantage of this and really pop off. So what are the spells that we're leveraging? Well, we're leveraging a lot of X spells. You'll notice a lot of those. We also have Bloodchief's Thirst. This can be a 1-drop or a 4-drop for us if we kick it. So this actually fits nicely along our curve and also kills pesky things early, which is nice. March of Otherworldly Light. As additional cost to cast a spell, you may exile a number of white cards. Blah, 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 blah. We're not going to use that most of the time. But exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. If we need to hit a 5-drop to trigger the last mode of our Obscura Ascendancy, we can pump 4 into X and target anything with mana value 4 or less. We can target a 1-drop and spend 5 mana on this, and it will enter the stack as a 5 mana value spell. So that'll work. We also have March of Wretched Sorrow, does something very similar where it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker and you gain X life. Very, very similar. There's nothing stopping us from hitting this along any part of the curve. And frankly, with March of Wretched Sorrow and March of Otherworldly Light, if our opponent has a token on board, or if a target has there is an eligible target, we can cast this where X equals 0. So March of Otherworldly Light can be our 1-drop to kickstart the Obscura Ascendancy by exiling, say, a treasure token, which actually could set our opponent back a fair amount as well. So that could be a nice tempo play and get us going on the Obscura Ascendancy. You love to see it. We also have Syncopate. This requires you to be a little creative, because Syncopate can also be our 1-drop. believe it or not. You can counter a spell unless your opponent pays 0. That is a legal play that you can do. It will accomplish nothing except putting a 2/2 spirit on board and putting a soul counter on Obscura Ascendancy, but sometimes that's exactly what we need. I have actually hit it where I've hit a person with Syncopate twice to hit both levels of the Obscura Ascendancy, and we got 2 spirits as a result, and we're able to curve out very quickly. Syncopate is very flexible in that regard. Also, if your opponent only has 2 mana, but again, we need to hit a 5-drop, there's nothing stopping you from pumping 4 into this and turning it into a 5-drop spell on the stack. You'll love to see it. Syncopate is wildly popular. Well, wildly popular. It's actually not very popular in Standard at all right now, but it is wildly effective in this deck. We also have some natural 2-drops. Well, we have some good stuff here as well. We have Infernal Grasp on 2. We just need to remove a thing because it's applying too much pressure early. Boom, this gets it gone. And it's a phenomenal 2-drop to trigger the Ascendancy. Meathook Massacre is another X spell that I'd be remiss if I did not mention. It is wildly powerful. This one is wildly popular. It's just very, very versatile, and again, can fit just about anywhere on our curve, except the 1-drop slot. But it can be actually, even if you have to play this out where X equals 0 as a 2-drop just to get the token, or just to get the counter on the Ascendancy, that's not bad. Establishing a Meathook Massacre for 2 mana, that's not a bad thing to do. So that's just good stuff. In our 3-drop slot, we have the Ascendancy itself, which, if we do have multiples in our hand, we can cast out an Ascendancy as our 3rd drop for our other Ascendancy. It is an option. That would provide that would create some weird board states, but we could do it. The other option is Void Rend. Void Rend is incredibly powerful. This card is great. It just removes a thing and it can't be countered, and it costs 3. Boom. Just get something gone. I've used this a number of times to very good effect. We also have Wandering Emperor as a 4-drop and Elspeth Resplendent as a 5-drop. These are both in here for a couple of reasons. Not the least of which is because either of them can kind of take over a game all by themselves. Like, that alone is worth the price of admission. Wandering Emperor just wins games. She's phenomenal. The ability to create samurai tokens and then buff the team, being able to buff the spirits that we're pumping out with the Ascendancy with Wandering Emperor is great. She's also very powerful removal, so you'll love to see it. Elspeth Resplendent has kind of a secret hidden talent in this deck, which is quite excellent, if I may say. If we have gotten to turn 5 and we have not drawn our Ascendancy yet, we've probably needed to use a couple of our control pieces to slow our opponent down, but we can drop Elspeth Resplendent, down tick her 3, and go grab Obscura Ascendancy out of the top of our library, assuming it's there, which it often is if we haven't seen it by that point in the game, since we are running 4. So, and it comes into play with a shield counter on it, which is a nice little bonus. So, not bad. So that's the deck. It's that simple. The goal is X spells that are controlling in nature to slow our opponent down, and as we slow our opponent down, we build up our board state, hopefully hit that 5th soul counter on Obscura Ascendancy. The whole team gets huge and we swing for the win. That's the idea. And I gotta say, it has actually been fairly successful so far in initial testing, if you will. So we're going to take this out onto the ladder and see if that success can continue. If you enjoyed this, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe to all the YouTube things in the buttons below. I would appreciate that. Also, you can check out my stream and challenge me to build weird decks like this, twitch.tv/hamhocks42. I would appreciate it very, very much. So thank you so much. Let's get to the gameplay. All right, we don't have a white mana source, but we have everything else we need. So we also need a second black mana source from Meathook, but that's okay. But if we can get Ascendancy on 3, white mana source didn't have it. If we can get Ascendancy on 3 and have a target for Bloodchief's Thirst on 4, I'm gonna be pretty happy. Hey, that's a target for Bloodchief's Thirst. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Obscura Ascendancy, let's go. Linvala. Linvala can save the Youthful Valkyrie, but they lose Linvala in the process. So we're going to be fine. Shattered Sanctum is actually a phenomenal draw for us. So we Bloodchief's Thirst, 1, targeting the Valk. They choose between the Youthful Valkyrie or Linvala. The choice is theirs. They choose Linvala. Fair enough. And now we can Syncopate, where X equals 1 to get another spirit on board. They're chipping in for 3. That's fine. You know what? I think we just established a Meathook. Gonna meet her going. We now have the ability to March of Wretched Sorrow. Well, not March of Wretched Sorrow this turn, but we can syncopate for 3 on the Obscura Ascendancy. All right, so far we're doing what we need to do. That said, our opponent is in white black. Actually, white black blue. They're in Esper as well. Now they can pay 2. We're asking them to tap out, but more importantly, we're getting the Obscura Ascendancy trick. They actually spent a second card in their hand because it looks like they didn't look closely at what we paid for Syncopate. I'm cool with that. I'm very cool with that. Giada, Font of Hope. You're going to get hit with the March of Wretched Sorrow next turn. No big deal, just saying. I think we do want to take out Linvala here. They may have some trickery. Trading a 2-2 for a 3-3 with bonuses? Yeah. Seems like a good trade. Oh, they have a second one. Of course they do. That makes sense. Let's get another Obscura Ascendancy tick. Pew pew. Giada's out of here. By Giada. And we have Elspeth Resplendent in hand next turn for the final countdown. No, for the final Obscura Ascendancy trigger. Jam Elspeth. They negate Elspeth, which is fair, and that does suck. However, we still get the final Obscura Ascendancy bonus. So we're now crashing in with 10 damage, and we've got a 5-5 back. Fair negate, opponent. Fair negate, but I got what I wanted. Booyah. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yes! Excellent. Alright, we got some good control elements. We're going to keep this, even though we may get punished. I mean, we don't have the Ascendancy in the opening hand, which, to be honest, is something we really need for this deck to be successful. To be honest, and we're going up against Mono Red Rush. Although, we have some ways to gain life, so not the end of the world. Oh, Boros Rush. Okay, a slight modification to the Mono Red Rush plan. Oh, we got the Ascendancy. All right, let's take a few hits. All right, let's take. All right, all right, opponent. Here's my face. Tag it if you got a couple times to tag it. Let's go. Woof! This is gonna hurt. Oh, it's gonna hurt. Are they gonna kill us in 2 turns? Is that actually gonna happen? That might happen. Fart. Okay, this is gonna suck. All right. I'm gonna hold the line, stick to the plan. Ascendancy's live and online. If they have any hasters, we're completely hosed. They're representing 8 damage, 9 damage. They need to find 2 more damage. If they have a play with fire in hand, we're dead. If they have any kind of hasty creature, we're dead. They've moved to combat, so it's not a hasty creature. Let's burn the damage out. That's a good idea. Ow, ow, ow. First things first. We're gonna Bloodchief Thirst, Luminarch Aspirant. Why aren't they going face? Are you guys seeing this? Sure, dog. You got it. Good work. About to say, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? I'd like to survive, but this is not gonna be enough. You know what? Nah, I want the Obscura Ascendancy tick. That's right. I'm going out in style. Let's go. They can just pay the 1. Yeah. That's fair. I'm gonna do this just to BM a little bit. But yeah, that's game. Yeah. Alright. Fun stuff. It's all good. Mono Red Rush. I mean, we did the thing we were here to do, but it was just too slow. That is what it is. This is a great hand. This is an absolutely great hand. We're keeping it. All right. Hopefully it actually works. We'll see. But we put the pathway down as the Grimclaw pathway, or no, yeah, Grimclimb pathway. My bad. Sorry. And then we drop a plains and hit the Ascendancy next turn. We have Syncopate, March of Wretched Sorrow as fine ways. Actually, you know what? No. We're not going to get a shot like this again anytime soon. We are going to Syncopate that Kami. Get it gone for good. Here comes the Obscura Ascendancy. All right. Okay. All right. Syncopate exiling. Excellent. Just throw that out there. Absolutely excellent. They get a Rune Forge Champ because, of course, they do. Why wouldn't they? We're going to March of Wretched Sorrow for where X equals 0 and then Infernal Grasp at Rune Forge Champ next turn. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. Then we hopefully hit a 3-drop into Wandering Emperor as a 4-drop. Bob's your uncle. Life is good. Stuff happens. I like when stuff happens. It's fun. All right. This is going to be, yeah, X equals 0. Confirm 0. Submit 0. Target him 0. Yes, indeed. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Pew, pew. That's a 2-drop. Obscura Ascendancy doing the thing. We're climbing the Obscura Ascendancy ladder, and we're going up against a deck that tends to have very little interaction with the exception of Touch the Spirit Realm, which we may see soon. Jukai Naturalist. All right, cool, cool, cool. March of Otherworldly Light off the top would be just the bee's knees right here. Actually, you know what? Obscura Ascendancy works. That'll be fine. Ching, ching. And with that, we have established that we are on the beatdown. Let's go. They're going to be able to get in for some lifelink here, which I don't like, but it's fine. Weaver of Harmony, they are definitely running Touch the Spirit Realm and those kind of cards here. No question. Sustenance, sure. She goes Reign of Truth. That card is a house. 7/7. I am gonna block here. We lose the spirit. It kind of sucks, Diddly Ox Flanders, but that's okay. We're going to exile that Jukai Naturalist. You know what else is really handy? That Weaver of Harmony is a 2-drop. Which means it's Bloodchief's Thirstable, giving us yet more spirits because of our second Obscura Ascendancy. Unfortunately, we have run out of gas here, so we need to draw some action. And Machico's Reign of Truth buffs one of our tap spirits for the turn. I'll take it. I'm not above this. I'm definitely not too good for this. Another Jukai Naturalist, very powerful card. Another Bloodchief's Thirst. A fine response, if I do say so myself. Alright. And we haven't seen any red yet, so I'm not worried about the Rune of Speed. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. If we top deck an Elspeth here or any X spell that can hit 5, this is just cash money. And we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll do. Oh, opponent, come on, let us do the thing. We had the thing. March of Otherworldly Light, X equals 4, buffs all of our tokens. It would have been sweet. Oh well, it's all good. We got there. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, that said, Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate it. I'm going to be completely candid with you. In getting this footage, there were a ton of non-games where this deck did not fire and we got completely dump trucked. I did not include those here because that's just not fun to watch. But I do want to let you know it does happen. The win rate on this deck is not great. This is jank. This is jank at its finest. If you want to have some fun in the play queue and you have a pretty good collection on Arena, by all means, give it a shot. It is fun. It is. And when it fires, oh, it's so satisfying. But just be warned, if you're looking for a good ladder deck, this isn't necessarily it. So be aware of that. But thank you for checking out the video. Thank you for making it to the end. If you have not already done so, please like and subscribe. And you can also check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/hamhocks42. I stream in the mornings Monday through Friday, starting at 7 a.m., going till around 11 a.m. most days. So I would appreciate seeing you out there very, very much. And I hope you're having a phenomenal day. I'll catch you on the next one.